Okay, we're going to have a look at Sign Now for use at the ARC. With the ARC, whenever they put somebody on a contract, there are two contracts. One between the worker and Maxima, but before we send the worker a contract, we must have a related contract between Maxima and the City of Campbelltown. So I'm going to log into Sign Now. So the email is just my email, jason.weiss@maxima.com.au, and the password is Maxima. Okay, so we're in. So on the left-hand side, there are really only two areas that you need to worry about. One is the documents and one is the templates. The documents are what we've sent out to our clients, and we can see a list of them here, and which have been signed with the green sign button and which are waiting for others. So you can see that this agreement that I've done with Kepler Analytics, I've signed it, but James from Kepler Analytics is still yet to sign it. I could go into here and resend the invitation, or if possible, if he wasn't there and somebody else said, look, I can sign this in his place, we could replace the signer. But really we're looking at the ARC ones, and I can see here, here's a host employer contract between Maxima and the City of Campbelltown. So you can see that Amy signed it, I've signed it, and the HR person, Samantha Killington, at the council has signed it. So when we want to do the contracts, we go into templates. And on the right hand side is a list of the templates that we can send out. It's really important at this stage that you don't actually open the templates by clicking on the blue hyperlink. You would think that that's what you do, but what that will enable you to do is to alter the templates, and we don't want to do that. So just an important point, don't click into them, you click Invite to Sign. So for example, with the ARC, here are the two templates that we need, both labelled ARC. One is the host employer contract and one is the contract with our staff. So let's look at the host employer contract as a starting point. What I would do is I would invite to sign. Now nothing will actually happen yet, so I'll click it. And we can see that there are three people that need to sign this document. The first is the Maxima consultant that's filling the role at the ARC. So that would be Joe in this case. Then the Maxima manager that's going to approve the timesheet. That would either be myself or Amy. And then there would be the representative from the City of Campbelltown. And at this time it's Samantha Killington. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to populate this with some fake email addresses. The first one I'll put is my personal email address, jaseweiss@gmail.com. And normally, if Joe, normally you would put your email address here. Next, for the Maxima manager, we'll just use a couple of these temporary email address places just as a demonstration. So normally, again, that would be me, that would be Amy. And for the host employer, we'll choose this one here. Okay, I've now got my three people ready to sign and I can send it out. If I do send it out, they're going to receive the standard Sign Now subject line which looks a bit informal. So before I send it out, with the last stage, the one that's going to the client, I customize the signer email. So this looks a bit informal, so I just changed this to something like post-employer contract for John or whoever the worker is, and then just a brief message. Hi Samantha, please review and sign, regards, or whatever it is. Okay, I'm now ready to go. So I hit send invite. Okay. Now if I go into my personal email, and this is the one that Joe, this would be your joe.overbeat email, you'll get an email saying Jason needs your signature. So if I open that up and I click open document, it will open sign now and I can begin to fill in the contract details. And it tells me that I need to fill in 14 fields. So I'll click get started, and there's a start button showing me where I need to actually start filling things out. The first is the date, so we'll leave it as today's date, 30th. The next is the host employer, so that would be for the ARC, City of Campbell Town, and I'll just put in brackets ARC. The hosted employee is the name of the worker, John Smith, and the associated employment contract is the number that you give to the worker contract. So usually there's a formatting of the initials followed by number 1 or contract number 2. It doesn't really matter as long as this here matches up with what you title the associated employment contract. Position title might be duty manager. The commencement date would be whatever the date's going to be. So I'll say 31st of, now we'll go to November the 17th, 18th. The classification is the award classification. So I would list the award, local government industry award level 7. The employment type is a contract, as opposed to the normal casuals that we do. Ordinary hours per week, whether it was 19 hours a week or 38 hours a week, we would just put that figure there, so we'll make it a full-time contract. Length of agreement, 1 year, or you could put the end date of the contract. So, all of these text fields here refer to this contract number here. So I've got to put JS1 in each of these. Oops. Copy, paste, paste, paste. Now you can see there are no more fields for me to fill out. As the consultant, I've done everything I need to do. It will then go to the employer and then the host employer. So if I now click done because it's green, and I can just say I'm done. Okay, so now I know that I've completed my part as the consultant. It will then go to Amy or myself, and that's this one here. So you can see now that I've got a similar message, and that's triggered as soon as the consultant's done their part. So I'm going to open this up, and again it will start sign now for myself or Amy. and I only have 4 fields, so I'm going to get started. You can see that everything that the consultant has put in there is populated. Start. And I just need to put in my name. Oops, whatever. And the signature, I'm going to type mine. And it gives me some signatures to choose. Choose that one. Add. And I'm going to choose the date, the 30th today. Pardon me. As soon as I hit done, that will then go to the City of Campbelltown. So we can check that. This is the temporary email address for the City of Campbelltown. They don't have any emails yet, but as soon as I click I'm done, it should now send an email to here. Let's just have a look. I'll refresh the inbox. And again, now we have the same message. So as the host, I'm now going to open the document. There are 4 fields for me to do. I'll get started. You can see that everything's done up above, and now it's for the host. So this would be Samantha Killington. And of course, if she leaves and somebody else takes her role, it would be whoever is authorised to sign the contract for the council. HR manager, sign. Okay. Add a date. Today. Okay, and now she's done. So it's very easy for the host to sign. I'm done. Okay. Now, if I open up Sign Now again as the consultant, and I go back into my Documents area, I can see that the host-employer contract has now been signed by the 3 parties necessary: the consultant, the temp skill manager, and the host. So that's fantastic. That's the first part of the process. I'm just going to get rid of that because it's a fake one. Now that I have that and I've saved the signed document on Found You, I can then go back into templates and I can follow exactly the same process for the contract staff template. Again, invite to sign, don't edit it, invite to sign. Put in the Maxima consultant, so Joe, that would be your email there. Amy or myself here, and the worker here, and customize the signer email just so it's a bit more warm and friendly. As soon as you hit send invite, Joe, you'll then be required to populate the contract between Maxima and the worker. So that in general terms is how you would do the ARC contracts.